And don't forget, when he grew up courting his later wife, Jean, winshin, they call it in Scotland, winshin, which means courting up there.
Oh, does it?
A really nice expression. When he was winshin Jean, Archie McPherson tells me, he was dodging about like the CIA or after
It does sound like he's lowering her onto a ship.
like a miner going to a pit.
That's exactly.
Just winching him up, Jean. And so he's a man that's very aware of the deep sectarian divide in Scotland. And for a modern generation, when people listening to this, I have to tell you, like, I've studied history, certainly, at that time it was divided, but 50, 60 years before, and 100 years before, riots, Mark, where people were killed and really dangerous
I mean, the troubles are arriving in across the water very shortly.
A tiny fraction that it didn't happen in Glasgow like it did in Belfast later.
Right.
It's on a tinderbox like that.
Yes.
It's amazing that it didn't really, but it didn't. It managed to stay as much in a sporting sense as possible. But those games, like, you see footage of crowds, like there was little trouble at games in the 40s, 50s, well, way back, they was, and it wasn't hooliganism like we've seen later.
No.
This was sectarianism played out on the terraces. Ferguson tells an amazing story of sneaking into a game when he was a kid, and his mother and father find out him and his brother were there because they're in the front of the paper the next day in the crowd.
Back to rights.
And they're caught. So this is the kind of world that he gets. Anyway, he arrives at Celtic. First year, he wins the Scottish Cup, famously. And they'd broken this drought. And he afterwards goes in and he says this wonderful thing. He says, I went into the dressing room and I looked at these players and I knew in that season, he convinced them, you're going to be okay. They won the title. I'd broken a barrier.
Wow.